so this now gives me the pleasure to hand over to our last speaker, Mr. Abdul Mumin Damba Tahidu. And you can correct me with the pronunciation of your name, of course. I made the best effort I could. And Damba is IDE's country manager in Ghana, and he has over 14 years of experience in leading programs that promote sustainable solutions in wash and agriculture. So Damba, the floor is yours.
All right, so thank you very much. No need to correct you, you got the name right. The name is best in simple terms.
Lucky me, thank you.
I guess you can just call me Damba to make life more easy. All right, let me go to the slides. All right. All right, so I'm here to speak to you on circular economy of sanitation, why it matters in climate change. I think basically before I share that, I would like to, I think an introduction had already been made about who we are as IDE. We are not for-profit organization, but our approach is leveraging on the power of the private sector to address developmental challenges in a way that makes a business case. So I am Damba. My presentation today is going to focus on our work in Ghana. At ID, we say we power entrepreneurs to end poverty. We believe that entrepreneurs are at the middle ground. They play a critical role in linking markets to the people who need it more. All right. I think I'm missing, okay. All right, so I'm going to rearrange this a bit. So I'll go to this slide before the other one. So through our work in Ghana, part of the things we try to do is we connect with the people through partner engagement, and also based on our experience on the ground, we identify these critical areas to focus on. One, access to sanitation, soil fertility, and climate change and economic shocks. We saw that those were really critical issues if we were to address fundamental challenges affecting smallholder farmers, community members in last mile areas. And for us, we did not only identify it as a challenge, we also acknowledge the fact that there is actually an interconnection between these issues. They are interconnected, they have a complex relationship, and so should not be treated in silos. We try to look at how can we actually build an integrated programming that leverage on the power of circular economy to deliver a solution to this. So access to sanitation, we identify social enterprise known as Sama Sama. So Sama Sama is a social enterprise in the northern part of Ghana that offers community members an opportunity to purchase improved latrines for their household. So to address access to sanitation, that was one thing we brought out. Soil fertility and climate change, we decided to explore beyond just offering toilets, but also around fecal sludge management. How can we ensure that the waste that is generated from these toilets are actually used in developing values for households? And the final one is economic shocks. For us, we define economic shocks in a number of ways. Even the pricing of inputs are part of economic shocks. So if we can think of a business case that addresses sanitation, a business case that can also leverage on the waste generated from the sanitation to develop a solution around fertilizer application and also poultry phase, we can also be addressing one of the fundamental challenges associated with economics of working in with smallholder farmers. So that is actually our integrated programming. Ours was more around like, how can we cut through these silos and build a solution that promotes circular economy and address this as a whole. All right, so this is our journey. In 2016, we started with connecting with the people to identify that what are the challenges in sanitation. One critical thing we saw was these community members needed an aspirational, improved, and affordable toilet facilities. So through our engagement with them, we were able to design a toilet facility for them. And from 2016 to date, we've really been able to reach 12,000 households with these toilet facilities. In fact, we celebrated our 10,000 celebration. We had our 10,000 celebration this year. And then beyond that, the other critical thing that came to mind was, it is not just okay to offer them an opportunity to access improved toilets. If you are not also thinking of what happened to these facilities if they get filled up. And so we decided to respond to that with our fecal sludge management approach. We introduced a fleet of cars, and their priority is dislodging services both for Sama toilets. So the brand is called Sama. Our social enterprise brand is called Sama. So our fleet of cars are in charge of dislodging services, not just for Sama toilets alone, but also for other toilet facilities within the northern part of the country. The next vision, we felt that it is not just okay to also dislodge the toilet facility. How can we leverage on a value out of this waste that can serve smallholder farmers in our communities? So we started an activity with support from Arab. Arab is actually like an engineering firm, very critical around research. So we decided to work with them critically to identify a solution that will promote circular economy. Through our work with them, we were able to come out with black soldier fly larvae as a solution we could use to develop a value out of the waste for both fertilizer and poultry feeds. So our question here is, can we create a circular economy for sanitation to address climate crisis? And when we look at climate crisis, we see carbon dioxide as an integral part to take note of. All right, I think I mentioned that the two key products we expect to get out of our fecal sludge work. One is organic compost, the other is poultry feed. Specifically on organic compost, we saw an opportunity that if we are able to develop organic compost for farmers, one of the critical things we are going to do is we are going to enhance the microbes in the soil, which will in turn serve the plants effectively. We understand that an enhanced microbes in the soil leads to a healthy plant because the plants are well positioned to sequester carbon dioxide into the environment. And this carbon dioxide will effectively be used by these microbes to serve the plant. We see a virtuous cycle where like a healthy soil leads to a healthy plant, which will lead to healthy animals, healthy human beings, replenish water, and subsequently to a healthy climate. So that is actually the virtuous cycle we expect to create out of a solution we generate for the soil using compost. So this is the economy. So breaking it down truly in the form of economy, you would see that it starts with to capture. I think one of the things is as I did mention in 2016, we came out with a toilet facility which is able to provide a decent facility for households to access for defecation purpose. It comes with a biodigester or a pit latrine where like the toilet, that is the waste is effectively managed and contained. The next is we came out with the fleet of cars for transportation purposes. Beyond that, we are now also looking at treatment, which I did mention that we are working with Arab, specifically on leveraging on black soldier fly to generate value out of the waste. And specifically, the value we expect is a compost out of it and also an opportunity for poultry feed. So basically, that is the story around our circular economy. And today, we are really interested we see that sanitation and soil, the missing link in our fight against climate change. We believe that soil plays a critical role. We cannot address climate change without looking at this critical area. And so our first question is, how might we scale up this approach? We believe that we all have a role to play here. IDE, with support of Arab, is leading the efforts around the research, the testing process, and we are really at that stage where like we need the right partners to support so we can actually take this to scale. How can we test the feasibility, desirability, viability, and using human waste in agricultural system? I think one of the other things we do care about is not just to develop a solution, but one that is transformational, one that is sustainable. And so we will continue to ask ourselves these questions. out of the solution we are going to develop for the market, is it feasible? Is it something that the local economy can take up and can easily build? Is it desirable? Who is the target group? Will they actually need a solution out of this waste? What are some of the sensitization we would need to do in order for us to be able to move to that level? And viability, we believe that any solution that is developed which does not in the long run has the potential to be economically viable is not an effective change. So ours is more around engaging with the right partners so we can develop a solution that is feasible, desirable, and viable to serve the local economy and specifically the smallholder farmers. Thank you very much. And I'll also share my email with all here so we can discuss this further. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Damba. And to inform you and Isabel as well that in the virtual world, more than 40 people, almost 50 people have been listening to you and have really appreciated, I'm sure, the insights that you have been sharing.